Hi guys, I am here with your Bible reading. We had some awful storms last night. Well, yesterday, not just last night. Um, the little towns around us here that we go to get our groceries and stuff, um, lost power and the wind was so bad. Some trees fell on houses and yeah, our electric was out really close to us and our lights really kept flickering. I thought for sure was going to lose power too, but we didn't. So we had some pretty bad storms last night. Please pray for the people that the trees fell on their houses and stuff because you know how much, what they're going to be going through. And my husband's mom and her husband lives down there. And I'm going to have to, when he gets up, I'm going to have him call and check on her to make sure they're all right down there. They cut down the trees beside their house years ago, so I don't think there was any trees beside their house that could have fell anyways, but still, I wanted to call and check on her. Alright guys, today we're going to talk about concerning married life and then um, concerning change of status, which we'll get into what that is here when we read it. And we'll be reading only part of the chapter today, 1 Corinthians chapter 7, but we'll only be reading verses 1 through verse 24 because chapter 7's longer than the other verses, or the other chapters, sorry, that we've been reading here lately. Okay guys, let's begin. Concerning married life. Now for the matters you wrote about, it is good for a man not to have sexual relations with a woman, but since sexual immorality is concerning, each man should have sexual relations with his own wife, and each woman with her own husband. The husband should fulfill his marital duty to his wife, and likewise the wife to her husband. The wife does not have authority over her own body, but yields it to her husband. In the same way, the husband does not have authority over his own body, but yields it to his wife. Do not deprive each other, except perhaps by mutual consent and for a time, so that you may devote yourselves to prayer. So come together again, so that Satan will not tempt you because of your lack of self-control. I say this as a concession, not as a command. I wish that all of you were as I am, but each of you has your own gift from God, and has this gift, another has that. Now to that unmarried and to the widows I say, it is good for them to stay unmarried as I do, but if they cannot control themselves, they should marry, for it is better to marry than to burn with passion. To the married I give this command, not I, but the Lord. A wife must not separate from her husband, but if she does, she must remain unmarried, or else be reconciled to her husband, and a husband must not divorce his wife. To the rest I say this, I, not the Lord. If any brother has a wife who is not a believer, and she is willing to live with him, he must not divorce her. And if a woman has a husband who is not a believer, and he is willing to live with her, she must not divorce him. For the unbelieving husband has been sanctified through his wife, and the unbelieving wife has been sanctified through her believing husband. Otherwise your children would be unclean, but as it is, they are holy. But if the unbeliever leaves it, let it be so. The brother or the sister is not bound in such circumstances. God has called us to live in peace. How do you know, wife, whether you will save your husband? Or how do you know, husband, whether you will save your wife? Now concerning change of status. Nevertheless, Each person should live as a believer in whatever situation the Lord has assigned to them, just as God has called them. This is the rule I lay down in all the churches. Was a man already circumcised when he was called? He should not become circumcised. Was a man uncircumcised when he was called? He should not be circumcised. Circumcision is nothing, and uncircumcision is nothing. Keeping God's commands is what counts. Each person should remain in the situation that they were in when God called them. Were you a slave when you were called? Don't let it trouble you, although if you can gain your freedom, do so. For the one who was a slave, when called to faith in the Lord, is the Lord's freed person, similarly to one who was free when called to Christ's slave. You were bought at a price. Do not become slaves of human beings. Brothers and sisters, each person, as responsible to God, should remain in the situation they were in when God called them. And that's where we'll stop today with 1 Corinthians chapter 7, guys. Now we're going to go on continuing Psalm 31 today, a Psalm of David. We'll be reading verses 19 through verse 24 of Psalm 31. It's one of our longer psalms than what we've been reading. Let's get into it here. How abundant are the good things that you have stored up for those who fear you, that you bestow in the sight of all, on those who take refuge in you. In the shelter of your presence, you hide them from all human intrigues. You keep them safe in your dwelling from accusing tongues. Praise be to the Lord, for he showed me the wonders of his love when I was in the city under siege. In my alarm I said, I am cut off from your sight. Yet you heard my cry for mercy when I called to you for help. Love the Lord, all his faithful people. The Lord preserves those who are true to him, but the proud he pays back in full. Be strong and take heart, all you who hope in the Lord. And that was Psalm 31, verses 19 through 24. Yes, be strong and take heart, and all you who hope in the Lord. Keep hoping in the Lord, because you will not regret it. We do not know what great things the Lord has in store for us. Our minds cannot even fathom what the Lord has in store for us. Alright, guys. We're going to end the Bible reading today with Proverbs chapter 21, verse 4. Haughty eyes and a proud heart, the unplowed field of the wicked, produce sin. Alright, guys. That was today's Bible reading. I hope it touched your guys' hearts. I hope you guys are having a great day. Let's bring those souls to Jesus, and God willing, I'll see you guys all again tomorrow with another Bible reading. Bye, guys. God bless.